Hello, I'm looking at episode number 368 of the TEW 2020 Challenge Run. This is going to be SmackDown for week 3 of May 2023. It's the first SmackDown show since the Judgment Day pay-per-view, and the first SmackDown without spoilers, if you haven't watched the pay-per-view, without the Bloodline. Because in that main event, Seth Rollins, Solo Sikoa, and Jacob Fatu picked up the victory, meaning the Bloodline is now gone from SmackDown. We also saw new women's tag team champions crowned, and I don't think any other belts changed hands. No. Melo's still champ, Candice still champ. Speaking of Candice, we will have what's being called a women's championship presentation taking place tonight. Who knows what that means, but it was announced on Twitter that it's going down. So without any more further ado, let's jump straight into tonight's show. Seth Rollins opens the show, and he's oh, ladies and gentlemen, it feels good. It feels good to finally be free. Because you see, last weekend, Judgment Day, it all came down to it, Hell in a Cell. Me and my boys against Roman and the Usos. Losers would leave SmackDown forever and ever and ever and ever. And as you can see, guess who's still standing? Now, this being my show, Seth freaking Rollins on Friday Night freaking SmackDown. I'm the top guy here on SmackDown. I earned the right to be the top guy here on SmackDown because I am that man. But now, you've all been spared. For the last year and a half, you've all had to suffer through bloodline nonsense. And trust me, I get it. And you're welcome for me putting an end to all of that. But now we look forward to the future. And I can't be the top guy here on SmackDown without that beautiful new World Heavyweight Championship in my grasp. So Pierce, get your bald ass out here. And Pierce walks on the stage. And he goes, okay, Pierce, so as your top guy, okay, I kind of get a bit of authority around here, because, I'm here on SmackDown for life now. Roman Reigns is gone. No, Roman Reigns is never coming back here. But I'm here, and for the first time, I see clearly what my purpose in life is. I get to look away from Roman Reigns and the Bloodline. I get to look ahead to be the best damn wrestler here on the Blue brand. And that starts tonight, Pierce. Because this cute little Fatal 4-Way main event you got, Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, LA Knight, Dolph Ziggler, winner becomes number 1 contender for the World Heavyweight Championship. I say, we make it a 5-way. And add in not just a visionary, not just a revolutionary, but the man who will take that World Heavyweight Championship, Seth freaking Rollins. And Pierce is like, well, you don't just get to demand title shots, Seth. That's not how it works around here. But you mean winning the main event of Judgment Day and beating the Bloodline. If that doesn't earn you a shot at a championship, I don't know what does. So, you want in? You want to make this Fatal 4-Way a Fatal 5-Way in tonight's main event? It is official. Seth freaking Rollins, LA Knight, Dolph Ziggler, Kevin Owens, and Sami Zayn. Fatal 5-Way main event. The winner goes on to Starrcade to wrestle Carmelo Hayes for the World Heavyweight Championship. So yeah, big change to our announced main event. I forgot to mention that earlier on the Judgment Day pay-per-view. We did announce that the main event of tonight would be LA Knight, Dolph Ziggler, Kevin Owens, and Sami Zayn, Fatal 4-Way, number 1 contenders match. And that's no longer the case, because now Seth's in the match, and it's a Fatal 5-Way. Speaking of number 1 contenders matches, though, that brings us to our first match of the night. It is a triple threat tag team match to crown the new challengers for the SmackDown Tag Team Championships. It will be Hit Rose, Ashanti Adonis, and Top Dollar against Emerson Frost and Ken Cobain of the Grand Jury, and Grandma Leak and Lindsay Dorado of Death from Above, 2/3 of the Cruiserweight Trios champions. And that match gets an 85. Top Dollar is in an 85 rated match. And yeah, but It doesn't go his way because it is the grand jury duo of Emerson Frost and King Kobain to pick up the win, probably pinning Ashanti. It's not elimination like the game says. I have to fix that all the time and mention that it's not actually elimination. 71 for Ken, 76 for Emerson, 60 for Top Dollar, who was the weak link, of course. 76 for Ashanti, 75 for Lindsay, and 88 for Grand Metalik. Holy shit. So thanks for carrying this match on 85, buddy. I'm sure you got your eyes set on, is it the Lady Killers? The challengers for the trios titles? But yeah, a future tag team title opportunity coming the way of King Kobain and Emerson Frost of the Grand Jury. And also Dolph Ziggler's in that main event tonight, don't forget. So could 3 members of the Grand Jury be looking at title shots at the end of the night? Speaking of... I don't know. Speaking of nothing. Adam Pearce is in his office. When in walks Paul Heyman. Pearce goes, "Can I help? You're not supposed to be here? Are you not banned?" He goes, "Well, let me get this straight, Mr. Pearce. I did not participate in the main event of Judgment Day. I am not Roman Reigns, nor am I a member of the Usos. So, I did not lose that match, therefore I believe that I'm contractually obligated and allowed to appear here on your show Friday Night SmackDown. But I just wanted to stop by and get a catch-up on what we discussed Sunday night." Pearce goes, "Well, obviously it's way beyond just me. I got to talk of Batista, I got to talk of Triple H, and all the higher-ups, to get something like that approved. But if you promise you're going to make it work, then I damn sure can go and have a look and inquire with the board of directors about looking to make it official." And Heyman goes, "Excellent news, Mr. Pearce. You see, it does suck because the tribal chief, he really liked you. The tribal chief really liked working for you, and he knew that you had the Bloodline's best interest at heart, whether or not he wanted to show it or not all the time. But if this is big, and this is how the Bloodline gets back on top, Adam Pearce. You have that power. Don't screw it up." Then I come backstage to Kayla. Kayla's with Mariah May and Tiffany Stratton after their win. Esteban, the cameraman's there again. And Kayla goes, "My guests at this time, Tiffany Stratton and her makeup artist, Mariah May, and the rest of her entourage, I guess." She's like, Kayla, rude. Okay, first of all, that's not a way to introduce me. Okay, Mariah, do a better job. Mariah takes the mic off Kayla and she goes, "Ladies and gentlemen, introducing the woman who was victorious at Judgment Day and soon to be the SmackDown Women's Champion, the center of the universe herself, the prettiest woman in the room, Tiffany Stratton." It's like, thank you so much. Now okay, I'm ready to talk. Okay, so Judgment Day, I finally get to put to rest those geeks. That Morgan girl and her weird Japanese friend. Okay, but they're in the past, and I'm looking for the future, because the future is Tiffy. And I'm going to go all the way to the Tiffy top, because, it's destiny. I've had a Tiffany epiphany about this since the day I was born. Because whatever room I walk into, I'm the star. I'm the most important person in the room. Look, see, Esteban, come here. And then he, stands at the side. I imagine the camera would cut from, the generic, shot of the interview set to, 90 degrees. So, we're looking at Tiffany, looking into the camera, but her back's to, the hallway, and then the set is to our right. So that's the angle here. She's like, "Look, I'll make it up to you, okay? I want a match tonight. And because I'm so important, I'm the center of the universe, I've got my own gravitational pull. The first person to walk up behind me and have an issue with anything that I say, I'll beat some sense into them tonight. So, okay, tell me when there's someone there." She just sort of stands around for a couple of seconds. And then Mariah's like, "Ooh." It's like, "What?" And then we hear the cameraman go, "Yeah, there's somebody there." It's like, "Great." She turns around and Candice is stood there with her belt. It's like, "Hey, Tiffy, I couldn't help but overhear this ruckus. You seem to think that Since you've got here on SmackDown, you've only been here for just over a month. You should think the whole world revolves around you. Well, it doesn't. Let me tell you what the whole world around here on the SmackDown Women's Division does revolve around. Okay, this. And as long as I have this, that makes me the center of this universe. Got a problem with that? Let's beats and sense into me in that ring tonight, huh? And then Candice sort of just pats her on the back and walks off. And then Tiffany just turns to the camera. She's like, delete that. And then she walks off. They get a 70 rated match. Quite short. It's Alba Fyre and Iona Webb against the Rebellion. Alba Fyre pins Toni Storm with a gory bomb. Again, I've been over the situation with Toni. Ruby's in a similar one. Her contract's a little bit longer than Toni's, though, but she has got less than a year left on it, so she'll also probably end up getting phased out, just to bring in the new guard. 38 for Iona Webb, 67 for Alba Fyre, 75 for Toni, and a 70 for Ruby. This week's show, funnily enough, is like the inverse of last week's, because if you remember last week we had that 6-man tag main event. I was like, I made this match because I'd already booked a lot of long matches, or a lot of short. I've booked a lot of short matches. I need to book a long one to like counter it out. This week's the complete opposite. I had to book a lot of short matches because I'd already booked that main event, and that main event's going long. Okay, so like it's the complete inverse of last week's show in that regard. But anyway, after the match, Alba and Iona are celebrating. It's going to be so awkward because I had to rename her, before she got called up in real life and didn't get renamed. Same fucking situation with Dudley, except I'm more used to the name Dudley Davis than I am the name Iona Webb, but it's, yeah. Out comes Thea Hale anyway. She, charges out from the back by herself. No one else from chase you with her. Like she's gone rogue, is the implication. And she storms into the ring and she goes to hit Alba Fyre. And then they both turn around and look at her, and then she freezes and she goes to hit him, in fear. And then the two witches sort of just look around and, look at her, eye her up, corner her, and she's, cornered in fear. And Haley Poole has to run out to try and save her partner. She ends up taking the 2-on-1 assault because Thea's too scared to step in, I guess. And then Thea does try and come in to save her friend in the end, and she ends up getting laid out as well. So, the menaces of Chase U are still going strong here at the expense of its two female students. We then get a recap of Kairi and Io Part 2 from Judgment Day. Just a video recapping the match because I've got nothing for them to do tonight. And then they say Kairi will be back next week, after her victory at Judgment Day. She'll probably change the picture pack because she's not Dark Kairi forever. It was just for that one match. We then cut back to the ring. And Bron Breakker comes out with Scott Steiner to booze. He's listen up, you fat asses here in the SNHU arena. I got something to say. Big Papa Pump's gotta speak. This man right here is a genetic freak just like me. Because it's in his genetics to be a genetic freak. It ain't just something he made himself. He was born and bred to break. Hence the name Bron Breakker. But you see, for years, I've been watching this kid from afar, my nephew from afar, doing things on NXT and here on SmackDown that I only dreamed of me or my brother doing. And now he's out trying to carve his own path. And he wastes his time with a fat ass some bitch like Keith Lee. No relative of mine wastes no time on a fat ass. None at all. None of them. But you see, this man right here has done me proud. This man right here is now the star here on SmackDown by taking out the dead weight. And there's a lot of dead weight there. And he took it out and he gave it a spear. And he locked it in that Steiner recliner, like Daddy and Uncle Scott used to do. And he had that chain wrapped around his face. And we ain't gonna see Keith Lee around here for a while. Because that's a Steiner beating for you. So now, I'm so proud and honored that my flesh and blood has taken steps towards making himself the biggest deal here on SmackDown, so much so that I bless upon thee, the Steiner name. Because the man you're looking at here, Braun Breaker, he sure does love to break shit. So that's a very appropriate name. But we ain't about carving his own legacy now. He's doing the Steiner dynasty proud. So ladies and gentlemen, meet the real Bronson Steiner.
Where's the lie?
Out comes Bobby Fish. Like, whoa, Bronson, whatever it is, whatever you want to call me. You're having a bit of an identity crisis, so, pardon me if I screw up. But allow me to come out here and bestow upon you some knowledge. You, Mr. Bronson Steiner, if that is your real name, took care of Keith Lee at Judgment Day because he'd already been weakened by your uncle. I mean, folks, where's the lie? But more importantly than that, you only got the chance to take care of him because he was taken care of by your uncle. Because Keith Lee was put in his place by Bobby Fish last week. Where's the lie? And Bronson, you are great. And I agree that Keith Lee was holding you back. Because you're actually not even going to ask where the lie is there. Because we all know there is no lie. And I extend my olive branch out to you, Bronson Steiner. If you're looking for a real experience, if you're looking for a better tag team partner, a tag team specialist, some may say, then look no further than Bobby Fish. Where's the lie? We can be called, I don't know, the Lie Breakers, the Lie Smashers, the Lie Steiners, the Liner Brothers. Where's the lie? And Braun Breaker just sort of looks around. And he spears the fuck out of Bobby Fish. And we get a match, ring the bell. 2 minutes 46. Bronson Steiner beats Bobby Fish in 2 minutes 46. Even then, probably a bit too long. With a Steiner recliner. He locks in the Steiner recliner. And Bobby Fish submits. 77 for Bronson, 55 for Bobby Fish. Bronson Steiner and Scott Steiner have absolutely zero chemistry. I may change that, but I also may not. It depends on how I take the story. But then after the match, Bronson Steiner, he keeps the Steiner recliner locked in on Bobby Fish. Bobby Fish is passing out, and referees and stuff trying to pull Bronson off, and he finally lets go. And then Scott Steiner gets something, he pats him on the back, he goes, "Good work, kid." So yeah. Heel Braun, obviously I had to go there, because he's just so much better as a heel in real life, I think. And the way the story I was dictating was going, Bronson Steiner made the most sense. Because if he's going to be his uncle's little boy, we can finally give him the name that, well, he should have had. So Bronson Steiner is here, and he's taken out Bobby Fish. Speaking of people we haven't seen in a while, nobody mentioned people we haven't seen in a while, but the Revolution. They haven't been seen since they've been at WrestleMania, and that's been by design, because I wanted to cool. I knew if they were thrown straight into the post-WrestleMania thing, they'd end up losing a match here or there. And I wanted to keep them until I knew that I could introduce them back into the fold in a meaningful way. So just let the WrestleMania wins settle for a bit. But now they're going to pop back up. And Buster, he's like, "Remember us? Your favourite new trio here in WWE. You got Nebo, Rufus, and yours truly, Buster Gates. WrestleMania, big night for us. We got to win over the legendary New Day." But now, what's next? What's next for the Revolution? What does every great trio here in WWE have their hearts set on? And that's championship gold. You see, Nebo and Rufus, the most important. We had a tag team number one contenders match tonight. These two weren't invited. Okay? And I don't know why. Got drafted to SmackDown, high priority in the draft. But there are people running around here with opportunities that, quite frankly, they don't deserve. So if what we did to the New Day was, consider that just a warning for what's coming next, because we know who and where and when and why and what. So watch your back, because the Revolution will continue to be televised. You don't know where, don't know when. 76 for this match. Tiffany gets a 14 minutes 27 second match here on SmackDown. Yeah, just to spotlight her, I guess. But Candice, of course, does win in that time with a Lion Salt. 76 rated match, which I guess is fair because Tiffany's still got no popularity. She gets a 49. Candice gets an 83. And yeah, the SmackDown Women's Champion, Candice LeRae, she celebrates her victory. She holds her title up high. Beat Utami at Judgment Day. Had a hell of a run of things here on SmackDown since she won that belt at WrestleMania.
Behold the King of Kings. On your knees, dog. All hail. Bow down to the King.
Okay, so imagine the scene's this. Candice is holding the belt up. And then King of Kings hits. And out comes Triple H. And Candice looks confused. And then, as Triple H gets close to the ring, Candice, goes to leave. He's like, no, stay in there. And then we cut to ads, oh, what the fuck's Triple H gonna say? And then we come back, and Triple H is in the ring with Candice. And he goes, ladies and gentlemen, having fun here tonight? So, SmackDown. We're finally rocking and rolling back on the track. Carmelo Hayes, the World Heavyweight Champion, they're going to find out his next challenger in the main event tonight for the World Heavyweight Championship. But speaking of World Championships, that brings me to you, Candice. You see, you won the Women's Royal Rumble this year, and you won the main event of WrestleMania Saturday to become the SmackDown Women's Champion. And during a time where, due to uneven draft pools, SmackDown's future with a World Championship was looking up in the air, you proved that you could wave the SmackDown flag and the SmackDown banner and the Women's Division's banner in the absence of the World Champion here. And we, here in WWE and here on SmackDown, respect the hell out of you for that. So, to avoid any more confusions and any more feelings of being underappreciated here in WWE, Candice LeRae, it's my honor to say that you are no longer SmackDown Women's Champion. And everyone's like, what the fuck? Because you will carry on your reign as the new Women's World Champion. Pulls the belt out. It looks like this. I was tempted to use, the one they gave Rhea in real life that looks like Carmelo Hayes' belt, but I don't really want to do that because I don't want to have the belts look the same, because, spoiler alert, hypothetically, if I was to change Charlotte's belt, I didn't want to use the one they're using in real life because I don't have that gold WWE title. So that won't match up with Cody's belt. So these two shouldn't match up either. So yeah. But yeah, I like this design anyway. It's fine. And he puts it around the waist of Candice. And he leaves the ring. He's like, the floor is all yours. And she's like, I imagine she's like holding back tears or whatever. It's an emotional moment getting a new title. She's like, I've said this a lot. I don't want to keep sounding repetitive, so I'll keep this short and sweet. Was never supposed to make it as far as I did. Royal Rumble winner, WrestleMania main eventer, SmackDown Women's Champion. Now, Women's World Champion, ladies and gentlemen. History's been made here tonight. And we're only just getting started. And then she holds the belt up and leaves. And then, it's announced, either on Twitter or on commentary, whoa, that contract signing that Charlotte and Danny Jordan have on Monday, Triple H is going to make a big announcement during that segment. I wonder what he might say. We then cut from that to Bayley watching backstage in disgust on the screen. And Kayla walks up to her. Or imagine Kayla just walking past and Bayley grabs her and pulls her across. She's like, talk to me. She's like, okay. It's like, come on, you don't want to do your job, Kayla? Come on, ding dong, hello. What's going on here? Okay, how long did I hold that championship for? And I never got treated like this. You know, Candice has held that belt for, what, a month and a half? And she's been presented like she's this historic champion. I should have had that championship. Why did I not get treated like that? Okay, this is bullcrap here on SmackDown. And that Florence girl last week, she came up to me and she... who does she think she is, huh, Kayla? She's here on SmackDown getting up in my grill, you know, the role models grill. Okay, well, ding dong, newsflash, dummy. It's not your show, it's our show, it's Damage Control's show. And Kayla just sort of looks around. Corbin bit her aunt next to her. And she's like, where are Damage Control? Bayley goes, that's not important. And neither is that dummy Asuka, okay? She got lucky at Judgment Day, and I will get her back when I so see fit. But Florence, next week, if you've got two friends in the back, bring them out, and we'll have a 6-woman tag team match, me and my two friends. And then, almost like magic, Dakota and Cora rock up next to Bayley. It's like, oh my god, you're here. She's like, yeah, we're back. What did we miss? It's like, oh, did you see what happened to Candice out there? It's like, no, what happened to Candice? Like, she's got this new world title. You know, the SmackDown title is gone, and she's got a new women's world title. You know, it's kind of bullshit that didn't happen to me, right? And Cole was like, yeah, Bayley. But what matters is that you're going to be the next women's world champion. After we put Florence in her place, and then we look ahead to Money in the Bank, where all 3 of us get in Money in the Bank. And Dakota was like, yeah, well, if there's 3 of us in the match... 8 women, you know, that's good odds. And we all know if one member of Damage Control wins, we all win. Speaking of stables, getting all gassed up in the back, the Grand Jury are back with Emerson Frost and King Cobain. It's just Dolph Ziggler, Scarlett, Frost and Cobain. And Dolph's gassed, like, good job, boys, you know. Things are riding high for the Grand Jury here on SmackDown. First we embarrassed Logan Paul. Now we're keeping that train rolling, you know. KK and EF, you know, going all the way to the SmackDown Tag Team Championships. And your boy DZ tonight getting that chance to finally show the world why he is the next World Heavyweight Champion. Then he sort of looks around and goes, where's DP? And then Priest walks in. And he goes, don't worry, I got it. It's like, what have you got? It's like, you two, the next SmackDown Tag Team Champions, you, Dolph, you win the main event tonight, you're the next World Heavyweight Champion. I know what I've got to do. And then Priest walks off. And Dolph's like, go at it then, DP, you know, knock yourself out, kid. Good luck. 87? We need to have a conversation about David Martin, I think. Because, you know, he seems to be too good to be stuck in this silly little French gimmick. But Pete Dunne does beat David Martin. Just I wanted to give Pete a rebound win after he got screwed out of the World Heavyweight Championship. 94 for Pete Dunne, 78 for David Martin. And yeah, just a big win for Pete. Then as he celebrates, out come Hit Row. And I imagine, like, they're not coming after Pete. I imagine the scenario is that Pete's walking back up the ramp and then they're coming down. And, like, Swerve accidentally shoulder checks Pete on his way down. And, of course, Pete's not happy about that. He just looks on in disgust before walking to the back. And Swerve goes, yo. Okay. I know what you thought. You thought old Riddle and old Snoop Doggy Dogg had our number. But I told you, ain't nobody got Hit Row's number. Because when the spotlight's on us, it ain't never gonna leave. And you can throw as many Matt Riddles, you can throw as many Snoops, anybody at me and this championship that you so please, and they'll all get put in their place. That's when Damian Priest storms out. And he gets in Swerve's face. And Swerve goes, "What you doing in my house here, you know. He, like, ushers Hit Row back. Like, they're going to jump him on Swerve's behalf. He's like, no, relax. Let the guy talk. He hands Priest the mic. And Priest goes, "You're a big mouth, aren't you? You know, you like to come out here, you like to talk. I don't mind talking myself, if I'm honest, but I prefer fighting. So let me cut to the chase. Ken, Emerson, beat your two guys to become the number one contenders for the SmackDown Tag Team Championships. Oh, DZ tonight in the main event, he's going to become the challenger for the World Heavyweight Championship. So the prophecy must be fulfilled, and the grand jury's quest to all be champions will be fulfilled. Because Swerve, I'm challenging you to a match next week for that United States Championship." And Swerve goes, "What, am I supposed to be scared of you? Scared of you and your big, deep, booming anime villain voice? You know, let me check it with you real quick, Priest. You know, why aren't you the one going for the World Championship? Why's it gotta be Dolph Ziggler? Okay, we know Dolph Ziggler's a loser. We know Dolph Ziggler can't get the job done. Watch, I bet he doesn't even win the main event tonight. And then when that happens, and the quest for you to all be champions has already fallen short, I mean, that's a load off your back next week for when I put you down. But surely you could have thought that I'd get that opportunity and you could have won it." And Priest goes, "I see what you're trying to do, Swerve. Okay, listen, just because your friends might be insecure doesn't mean mine are. Okay? And I know Dolph, even if he wins or loses in the main event tonight, he'll want me to bring home that gold. That's exactly what I'm going to do." But I imagine Top Dollar charges in. He gets caught with a kick. Ashanti takes that South of Heaven chokeslam. And Swerve and B-Fab, I imagine, escape up the ramp. But yeah, next week it will be Swerve defending the US title against Damian Priest. Because Swerve didn't defend at Judgment Day, because he was in the Rick Ross tag team match. So just do the defense now against Priest. But also, you know, weird interaction with Pete Dunne as well. So who knows where that's going. We then, I imagine the scenario will be that we go to ads after that segment. And when we come back, we get a recap of Triple H introducing the belt to Candice. And then we cut backstage and Candice is like, just gleefully skip. No, that's not the scene. Okay, the scene is within the babyface women's locker room. You see Hammers, Morgan, and Fallon sort of chatting. Lyra just sort of chilling, doing her thing. Shida and Liv, like, sort of arguing. Like, not with each other, but, like, just in general about their loss at Judgment Day. Just exasperated, I guess is the best term. And then Utami just sat there sulking, probably with, like, headphones on, hood up, in one of the lockers. When the door flies open and Candice skips in. It's like, "Oh my god, look at my new title." And then immediately Liv just gets out and just walks out right past Candice. And leaves. And she's like, "Okay." And Shida walks up, like, "You know, sorry about her, you know, loss hit her hard." He's like, "Yeah, I get it, you know, I feel bad for you losing your tag titles, but, you know, caveat for Ivy and Tatum, of course, but, you know, I'm sure there's more gold in your future." She just like, "Thanks," and she just walks off to go follow Liv. Then I imagine Lyra, Hams, Morgan, and Fallon will sort of like crowd around, look at the new belt, like take the new belt in, and then Evan just gets stopped to a silence when Utami stands up, like takes her headphones off, hood comes down, and she just walks up to Candice and just they glare at each other for a couple of seconds. Utami sort of looks down at the belt, looks up at Candice, and after a handshake. And Candice goes, "You know, I respect you a hell of a lot more losing the way you did than if you'd have won by cheating. And rematch, name the time and the place." And then her and Utami shake hands. And Utami just goes straight away and just sits back down. But yeah, Candice flaunting her belt to the women's locker room, coming to show them the new title, and, well, a lot of different reactions from amongst the locker room. We then cut to the family in the restaurant, and Tony's there. Goes, boys, here's a toast. A toast to Judgment Day. A toast to us, proving to the world why you don't mess with the family. To the family. To the family. And then the same waiter from, was it last week or was it the week before? The one that Big Cass threatened to beat up. He, walks up all shaky. He goes, hey, wise guy, come on. I'm sure you got it right this time. And he puts the food down the plate, all nervously, he's shaking it, he's really spilling the pasta on the floor as Big Cass just glares a hole through it. And he puts it down. And Tony sort of inspects it all. He goes, you did good. Then he grabs a wad of money out of his pocket and puts it in the waiter's pocket and goes, buy yourself something nice, capiche, now scram. And he's like, well, it was a really eventful night. I imagine Tony then pulls out a bro bib, for lack of a better term. The bib with the suit on it. Yeah. And he puts it on. He goes to tuck in. We see flashing police lights outside the window. And they all sort of look. And they're like, on second thought, wise guy, get back over here. He calls the waiter back over. He goes, can we get this to go? He goes, to go? No, it's not. We're not a takeout. And then Big Cass slams his hands on the desk and stands up. And he goes, I'll go get you some bags, Mr. D'Angelo. He's like, great. So, yeah, just another fun restaurant segment with the family, celebrating their victory, and getting paranoid at the sight of cops because they may have done something a little bit nefarious at Judgment Day, in case you missed the pay-per-view. 66, whatever. Angelo Dawkins has his singles debut here on SmackDown, and he's up against Sanga. And the match gets a 66. Angelo wins 7:42 with a spinebuster, 36 for Sanga, 68 for Angelo Dawkins. So yeah, nice win over a big man for Angelo with a spinebuster. That's kind of impressive, spinebusting Sanga. Then after the match, Sanga gets to his feet, and Indy comes to the check on him. He's like, "Are you alright? Are you alright?" And on the ramp, Malcolm Bivens just stood there, just watching on. Omos one side, Veer the other side. And Sanga sort of sees them watching him. And then looks down at Indy. And then looks back up at them and just shakes his head at them. And him and Indy walk out. We then see a dark room with two cards laid out on the table, face down. And we pan up and who's there? Drinking scotch, looking depressed, but carrying cross. He's not changed. I imagine he's not changed since Judgment Day. He's got the same shirt and jeans, whatever he was wearing, with dirt on him, and his hair's all messed up. And he goes, all my friends are dead. I've been pushed to the edge. I know now that lives, they're not to be messed with. In an instant, everything we love could be taken away from us. But I thrive off that. Would Carcass, would Cutler, would they want me to sit here and weep and moan and cry like a bitch? No. They'd want me to get back out there. They'd want me to go out there and prove why I'm the coolest, toughest, most badass son of a bitch around. So I may be outnumbered. And Tony, he can have his little family. And I may not have my cult anymore. And he turns the two cards over, and I was just like, it's a tarot card with Carcass and Cutler's face on it. And he's like, but their spirits are with me. The spirits of all the souls lost on my watch. And soon, these cards become a whole deck starting at the very, very top. Everybody, I have no one to love. This plastic world has beaten me down yet again. And now you all must suffer for it. Your heroes aren't safe. You aren't safe. And I truly, truly mean when I say it's nothing personal. It's just fate. So next week, believe it or not, actually kind of a stacked-ish show. We got, as we heard earlier on tonight, Bayley, Dakota Kai, and Cora Jade of Damage Control. Their first match in a long time together. When they take on Florence, and we'll see if she can find two partners of her own to, team with her in the fight against Damage Control. And we also have in the women's division action to follow up from their face-to-face earlier on tonight, their encounter. Thea Hale may have to overcome her fears because she's going to go one-on-one against Alba Fire on next week's show. But that's not all, because of course we have, as we also learned earlier on tonight, a United States Championship match when Swerve Scott puts his gold on the line against Damian Priest of the Grand Jury. 84 rated main event. I was expecting better, but Sami Zayn got a sleepy head, which I'm assuming means the match got thrown off because, disrupted for injury because Sami got a little bit sleepy. Okay, sure, game. Love that for you. But in 27 minutes and 51 seconds, it's Kevin Owens who picks up the win, pinning Sami Zayn. The scenario is Seth would be on top. He'd stomp Sami, and then Kevin Owens would stun Seth Rollins, and Seth would fly back outside the ring. So Kev can't pin him. When he sort of looks down at Sami, shrugs his shoulders and pins Sami, gets the 1-2-3. And then when Sami comes to, he understands, he laughs it off, and he raises Kevin's arm, and they hug. They're all still friends, because we know it's every man for himself, that's what we want to really put across here. I imagine Carmelo and Trick are watching this in the skybox, probably. And we cut to him many times during the match. And we now know at Starrcade, it'll be Carmelo Hayes defending the World Heavyweight Championship against Kevin Owens. Sleepyhead for Sami Zayn. Okay, yes. 90 rated show overall, that's still fine. That's actually pretty good, considering some of the short matches I had. The match of the night was actually Pete Dunne versus David Martin. So, there's that. But from now, we must move on to Velocity. A very basic episode of Velocity this week, Kicks off with a good match, We've got RKJ, he's from NXT UK, Ricky Knight Jr. I wanted to give him a tryout on this show to see how he did. And he got a 65 and had a 78 rated match with Drew Gulak, so who knows, he might have a permanent spot on Velocity soon. But Drew Gulak does pick up the win. His spot is basically what Candice was on Heat before she won the Rumble. That's what Gulak is for Velocity. Him and Kyle O'Reilly and Roderick Strong are made just those guys I just stick in there to have bangers on this show. And this is no exception. 1352 Gulak, he beats RKJ. A real eye-opening performance for the young man. A Norwich boy, so he's going to have some bias here. 71's also not terrible. Oni and Timothy Thatcher, the other 2/3 of that trio, defeat the Booty Twins, 951. Oni submits Lewis Booty with the half stranglehold. 45 for Ryan Booty, 55 for Lewis Booty, 81 for Timothy Thatcher, and a 68 for Oni Lorcan. Still feel bad for Oni for getting shafted so badly by the game, so it's nice to sprinkle him on the show and give him a win here and there, because, he's Oni, he's a former world champion, no big deal. We then get what has become the weekly scripts match, because I really need to get scripts popular and good, fast. So he beats Tristan Ellison in 12 minutes, 3 seconds by submission. 56 for script, 64 for Tristan Ellison. And the main event gets a fucking 87. Okay, I knew this was going to be good because Pistolero's in it and he's unreal. And this is the build-up, because we're going to announce that next week on Velocity will be the Trio Star match between the Lady Killers and Death from Above. And since Malik and Dorado wrestled on SmackDown, Pistolero was the one to get into the ring. And I thought, fuck it, let's do the two leaders. Let's do well, not leaders, but Pistolero is the best in that group against Zachary Ben-Shahar of the Lady Killers. And in maybe something of an upset, Zachary Ben-Shahar actually beats Pistolero in 14:49 with a champagne super knee bar. 73 for Zachary Ben-Shahar, 90 for Pistolero. And yeah, you know, the momentum suddenly in favour of the Lady Killers heading into next week's Trios title match. But that ends tonight's show. Gets an 83. That's probably the best episode of Velocity maybe ever. But what matters more than that is what you thought of the show, mainly of SmackDown. So do let me know what you thought in the comments below, and I'll see you next time for Raw, the go-home show to Starrcade. We've got the War Games Advantage match between Adam Cole and Baron Corbin. We've got Johnny Gargano against Chad Gable for the IC title, and a contract signing for Charlotte Flair versus Danny Jordan with Triple H having something to say. Who knows what that could be? See you then.